Hi, I'm Jay Vitello with WildPackets, and I'm here to talk to you guys today about basically about network analysis at 10 gig and network analysis from a packet perspective. And to give you just a brief overview of what we're going to do, a little bit of who we are, and maybe actually a little bit longer of who we are, because I kind of learned that there may be a perception that WildPackets is wireless, and we're much more than wireless. I'll certainly be covering that in technical detail, but in the who we are, that our CEO and co-founder Tim McCreery will present. I think he'll cover some of that for you as well. But then after that, the topics we're going to cover are trends in high-speed networking. So that's just a couple of slides about trends, more to see if you agree or disagree. Then transition to the changing role of network-based and packet-based network analysis in 10 gig. There was really a big shift that needed to take place from 1 gig to 10 gig, and I want to just talk about that and talk about how WildPackets has addressed that, and then talk a little bit about network forensics and what that means, something that really came to fruition with 10 gig as well, and then about some of the new architectures, a lot of the virtualization and how that's affecting packet-based network analysis, and then talk about where do we monitor on the network when we do this kind of deep packet inspection. After each one of those, I'll do a little demo of some of the things that WildPackets does to give you an introduction if you're not familiar with what we do in the wired side. But with that, to give an introduction about who we are as a company, I'd like to introduce our co-founder and CEO, Tim McCreery, to come up and spend a little bit of time talking about who WildPackets is and kind of where we came from.
Thank you, Jay. I'm Tim McCreery. So Stephen was telling me a little bit about he'd like to have me tell a little bit about the history of packet analysis, so I'll make it really short. When I started in packet analysis, Ethernet was still being sold as discrete components on a card, and there was a lot of worry about the frequency vibrations and the effect of other components on the card. And there was a company called XLAN, which built a product that was originally called Nutcracker, and later it came to be called Lanalyzer, that put the Ethernet chip into promiscuous mode, by essentially turning off the cam that gated the addresses into the chip. And that company really was in the business of selling TCP/IP, on network interface cards. Harry Saul came by. He wanted to purchase the technology from XLAN, and they wouldn't sell it to him. And he went off to start Network General, and that was how Sniffer got started. So Sniffer went on and built a user interface, and WildPackets, somewhere in this time frame, maybe 3 or 4 years later, started a packet analyzer that worked on the Macintosh, and it was called EtherPeak. And that was, I was one of the first. I was an author of EtherPeak. I worked at XLAN before that. Actually, I had worked at a company called Kinetics that was acquired by XLAN, and Kinetics did Ethernet on Macintoshes, and so there's a little swash of the history and what's going on. My partner and I started this company really to try to build a Lanalyzer sniffer that worked on the Macintosh, that would work with any chipset and be very affordable as opposed to the expensive sniffer product. Through the years, we've built up more and more features into the program, and we eventually moved over to the Windows interface. Eventually, we worked over to have a distributed interface so that you can locate sniffer, probes throughout the network to collect data and then bring that data back together and analyze it. WildPackets is an unusual company. We were never venture funded. We're sort of organically grown. We started the company in a room over my garage in Walnut Creek instead of Silicon Valley. And today we have offices really all over the world, and especially focusing on EMEA and APAC outside of the domestic United States. we really sell to everybody. We really sell to every vertical. You know, everybody uses networking these days. It's obviously ubiquitous and totally important to all business applications. This is really the business opportunity for us. Through all of that, the company's forte has always remained packets, deep packet inspection, forensics, you know, and we focus especially around troubleshooting, find and fix, you know, detecting anomalies at a sort of more basic level of, and then working with other products in the network, you know, things like NetFlow or other types of security things so that they detect problems, and then we're able to drill down, find out what really happened, you know, in the technical details. We're very proud of our innovation that we've done through the years. We've certainly done a lot of innovation in the wireless world, but also we've introduced appliances that outperform everything else in the market. We have a packet recorder that stays at full line rate in 10 gig. It's in a very affordable 3U package. You know, this list just gives you an idea. You know, we really put a high degree of emphasis on staying current with technologies like network packet brokers, but also being able to work at line rate. We still believe that you need to see all the packets in order to make a full, complete analysis instead of just sampling or just looking at summary data. So as I said earlier, customers need us because of the increasing reliance on the network, and networks get more complex at a lot of different levels. They not only get faster, but virtualization and the cloud has sort of created these artificial environments where applications have to run in different tiers, and that's great in terms of distributing resources. It's really bad in terms of trying to figure out what problems are and how to find and fix those problems. So this is where the company, views its opportunity around discontinuities in network technology. That is, as things move to faster and faster speeds or more complex virtual abstract environments, we have to be able to adapt to those environments, provide features and services to our customers that do that type of stuff. In general, there is a crazy continuous amount of need for this in virtually every environment. So we try to differentiate ourselves in the market by being at the leading edge and showing innovation. In particular, our customers tell us that for them, the savings is really around how quickly they can resolve problems and troubleshoot. And so we have a lot of focus on the fewest number of clicks that to get to problem resolution. And some of this comes through built-in experts in our product that detect things and give alarms and alerts, but also a way to sort of filter and immediately go down to the devices which are giving the problems. As I mentioned earlier, some of the challenges are as we go into higher speeds, the velocity of the network creates a great volume of data. And so understanding how to handle these, it's a true big data type of problem where you have a lot more data than you can handle successfully. So how you index and navigate through that data is a critical aspect of how to do well. We really sell to every vertical out there. We like to sell to larger enterprises. We think the value of our product is around a distributed networks that have things. So there are definitely people who run our tools on individual laptops, take them to find problems and do that. But some of the higher speed networks really require a much more substantial computing resource than is provided in a laptop. And so we try to steer people towards a computing framework and appliance that really has the capacity to meet their requirements on their network. So some of our notable brand names that we've sold to include Boeing, Comcast, Chrysler, Cisco, Motorola, EDS, Hewlett-Packard, Siemens, Qualcomm, Microsoft, Nationwide, Principal. And part of our success is really in working with other vendors and making them play with our products as well. So, strategic partners we have include Cisco, Aruba, Maru, Ubiquiti, and then on the network packet broker front, Gigamon, Anui, and Appcon. So that's really my short little intro to the company, give you an idea. We've been around a long time and I've seen a lot of things happen in the network, and we're sort of busy at work, trying to develop more cutting-edge, state-of-the-art things, making troubleshooting and diagnostics much easier. So thank you for coming today, and I think Jay's going to show you some interesting things about how our product works.